Today we have a lot. Like there's so much happening at the moment. I don't even know where all this stuff came from.
Me
It
neither.
just so happened that like out of nowhere, so much stuff has been happening in the world, and
I recently made
especially
a video talking.
Sorry. Oops. I'm setting up the clips in advance. Apologize.
that's okay. I'm just dying here. Fine. Um, so several things that I find very interesting. One of them being the Selena Gomez documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's a new Selena Gomez documentary called My Mind and Me on Apple TV, and
I've
I
not seen it.
watched it.
You have Apple TV? Can I get your login? It's the only one I
I
don't
got
have.
the free trial and I canceled
okay.
immediately.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough.
So Selena has had this team of people sort of follow her for 6 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And they made this documentary at the end of it. And it's a good piece. It's pretty good, but there's some things that I don't necessarily agree with. um, but also, it's not bad. It's like it's a good movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's worth watching. You do learn a lot about her through this. I didn't know. I don't think I knew like 80% of the things that
I
she
don't know
has
much
gone
about
through.
her. Yeah, I don't know. I know she was on Disney Channel on The Wizards of Waverly Place, and I know she was dating Justin Bieber back then. That's about all I know. And I know she had some sort of illness.
Yeah, she has lupus. Lupus. Yeah.
But she had like a surgery, right? Like that's what we're going to talk about today. Something about her surgery?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think as part of this illness that she has with as part of lupus, and I don't know all of the details about it, but she needed a kidney transplant, and her friend, sorry,
You're good. This is the worst week for you to have to pick the topics. I don't know anything about any of these things either. I can't even jump in and go, oh yeah, let me explain. I have no clue.
yeah, sorry. Okay, so she needed a kidney transplant, and her friend Francia, uh, I forget her last name, who is also an actress on Disney films, decided to give her a kidney. And this Francia Raisa, I think her name is.
Yeah, that sounds.
So this
This
is
is
the
hers.
original post where she told people, and
You
yeah,
read
maybe
it?
it's worth like yeah.
Okay. So this is on Selena's Instagram. It says, I'm very aware some of my fans have noticed I was laying low for part of the summer and questioning why I wasn't promoting my new music, which I was extremely proud of. So I found out I needed to get a kidney transplant due to my lupus and was recovering. It was what I needed to do for my overall health. I honestly look forward to sharing with you soon my journey through these past several months as I have always wanted to do with you. Until then, I want to publicly thank my family and incredible team of doctors for everything they have done for me prior to and post surgery. And finally, there aren't words to describe how I can possibly thank my beautiful friend Francia Raisa. She gave me the ultimate gift and sacrifice by donating her kidney to me. I am incredibly blessed. I love you so much, sis. Lupus continues to be very misunderstood, but progress is being made. For more information regarding lupus, please go to the Lupus Research Alliance website, lupusresearch.org, by grace through faith. And that was 269 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a few years ago, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
2017 looks like this post was.
2017. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, yeah. So even before I thought. So, anyways, this is, as I'm sure you can imagine, and yes, she does have bipolar as well. But the bipolar is actually well addressed in the documentary. But this is a big deal, isn't it? Like you need a transplant, and you
Yeah.
get a transplant from you get a kidney, a literal part of somebody's body. This is your friend. She gives you this kidney. It's a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah, that is a huge sacrifice because your life as the donor is never quite the same. I've heard like you can still live and do things normally, but you like exercise is different and you have to take better precautions of things for yourself for the rest of your life. So it's not just like, oh, yeah, I'm donating some blood. Like this is a big deal and you're really, I think it's a sacrifice for sure.
It probably changes your life forever because the way you I, I'm not really sure. Like the way, like the kidneys are part of the digestive system, and the way you digest is never going to be the same. It's like literally cut in half. And Francia has talked about this briefly, and we're going to see in a minute. But she said that she was aware that while this was happening, the person receiving the kidney will start to feel a hell of a lot better because like they're getting something they don't have. So they're like suddenly, their body is able to digest, like it's able to just function better. While the person losing the kidney is gonna feel worse, at least in the initial, recovery period. So she did talk about that, and it's interesting. We're gonna see some video about this. But while you think this is a huge deal in someone's life, in the documentary, this was not even like half a minute. Like they just showed the picture and glossed right past, didn't even mention Francia's name,
Damn.
and moved on to the next thing.
Huh.
So people have been starting to speculate. Like, hold on a minute, what's happened? There's been drama here with Francia. Why is Francia not mentioned? Why is Francia not in the documentary except for this picture?
Yeah.
And this picture being there for like 5 seconds, not enough. So I figured, you know what, let's watch this video by Spillstash because she has done some really good research, and I think it starts at like 5 minutes 57. That is really interesting.
5:57. Okay.
Yeah, but in the meantime, can I go make another tea because this is
No.
not gonna cut it.
Yes. You may. You may leave.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I just want to point out as Cam leaves, behind her, Spill Sesh has 666,000 subscribers. Hey.
Yes.
So
the devil.
If you believe in devil worship, this is the channel for you. Okay. Here we go. So we're at 5 minutes, 57 seconds. So again, I don't know anything about this at all. I know the bare minimum. So I'm actually very intrigued by a scandal involving kidneys.
Friends. That is until this past week. I talked about in my video going over the documentary that Selena had recently done an interview following the release of the documentary, and it was with Rolling Stone. And in it, she said that she didn't have many friends in the industry and that Taylor Swift was her only real friend. She said, and it was hard to share these fears with people whose lives hadn't been derailed by fame. Even as she says, I never fit in with a cool group of girls that were celebrities. My only friend in the industry really is Taylor Swift. So I remember feeling like I didn't belong. I felt the presence of everyone around me living full lives. I had this position and I was really happy, but was I? Do these materialistic things make me happy? She realized I just didn't like who I was because I didn't know who I was. E! News had posted a portion of this quote on their Instagram that said, I never fit in with a cool group of girls that were celebrities. My only friend in the industry really is Taylor. And Francia ended up commenting and quickly deleting her response to this that said, interesting. Some tried to say Francia was overreacting, and clearly Selena was saying this about people in the music industry and not the industry as a whole. So they thought it was ridiculous of her to even think that was anything to be mad about, while others felt like it wasn't super clear that she was only talking about the music industry and felt like this was actually not very nice of Selena to say, and she was actually discrediting Francia's entire career as an actress in the industry. Someone who gave her a kidney, but her only real friend is Taylor? People just weren't liking this at all, especially knowing it rubbed Francia the wrong way. And while someone ended up making a TikTok about the comment Francia had left, Selena Gomez commented on the TikTok and said, sorry I didn't mention every person I know, which started even more drama. People were shocked to see Selena respond.
Isn't the whole point of the post or the article or whatever, I'm coming into this halfway through, But she's like, I had no friends, 0 people. I only had one friend. It was Taylor. That's the whole point of this journalist writing this article. Sorry, I didn't mention all of my other friends. God, guys, like, what's the whole point of the article then?
It's like, sorry, she's not just every person you know. She's someone who donated a whole kidney to you.
Yikes. And I'm seeing some of the people in the comments saying that there's like speculation that Selena was like drinking after the surgery. That would be insane if that's, I don't know.
There is some of this chat just before this, but I think that she was kidding. She made a TikTok, but it was kind of a joke.
Okay, good. Because I would imagine you cannot drink if you've had a kidney transplant, probably both sides, the donor and the receiver, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Bonds, and a lot of people didn't love what she had to say, and that she had referenced someone who gave a piece of themselves to save her life as just a person she knows. Something about it rubbed people very wrong, and then a huge conversation started surrounding Francia and Selena's friendship. People were saying Francia unfollowed Selena, and her mom unfollowed Francia. Others said that Selena's mom had unfollowed her a while ago, and so did Francia. All I do know is that Selena still follows Francia, and the timelines of other unfollowings are just one big giant question mark. But the whole thing is weird and it's sad. These two girls share such a personal journey together, and Francia literally underwent an extremely hard surgery with lifelong effects to save Selena. And if they aren't friends anymore, that just sucks a lot. People then started going down memory lane and analyzing old interviews about the kidney transplant. There were people mentioning an interview Francia did with Self, where she talked about being a kidney donor and how she didn't get to tell Selena she was a match herself. She had said that Selena actually was the one to call her and say, we are a match, and it was set. And she didn't really have this time to process, like, this is happening.
I did panic when I found out I was a match. It wasn't the way I expected. One day, I got a phone call from Selena, a FaceTime, and she's like, for a match! And I'm like, yay! What? How do you know this? I had a way that I wanted to tell her when I made the decision. I knew it was gonna happen. I just knew that time. Like, it's a big thing. So I hang up and I call my social worker and I'm angry. And she told me, it's gonna be hard. The recipient is gonna glow and she's gonna recover a lot faster than the donor is, because she's receiving something she needs. You're losing something you don't need to lose. It's gonna be hard.
When people were dissecting these old interviews, people noted that Selena had said at one point in time to NBC that Francia volunteered to do this and get tested, and it really didn't seem like anything that she was being forced to do. Others have defended Francia, going on social media to say that she might have volunteered to get tested for Selena, but didn't actually say 100% she was going to do it.
Okay, my take on this is it's almost like the argument, like, you can rescind consent whenever you want. Like, it's almost saying like, well, you said earlier at the bar that you liked me, so, like, you know, whatever happens past that, like, you said it, it's fine. Like, I feel like it's the same thing or similar to this, and maybe that's a crass example, but like, just because she went and got tested does not mean that she automatically is saying, I will donate my kidney to you no matter what if I am a match. I think people do these match things all the time where it's like, hey, go and see if you could be a match for somebody. That's a different ask than like, okay, now we found out you're a match. There should be a second level of like, okay, I've thought about it. I've talked to my doctor about it. Like, I'm definitely gonna do it. Or actually, I've learned more. I'm sorry, I can't do it. That shouldn't be something that, is not okay.
Yeah, and I think that clearly she did want to donate the kidney, since she did, but also she seems to have had a plan and wanted to just kind of think it through. Once she has, like, her mind made up and she's sure she can just say it, kind of seems like she was forced to do it, or not forced to do it, but like
Pressured
into doing it, and also into making the decision faster than she wanted to. Seems like she wanted to take some time to think about it and then couldn't, because Selena phoned her being super excited.
In how, I don't know how organ transplants work or donations or whatever, but it sounded like it wasn't like Selena went to the top of the organ donation list. That's like a nationwide thing, because I don't think she was, and I don't know for sure, but I don't think she was like gonna die in the next 24 hours if she didn't get this. It sounds like this was like a private thing that was sort of, get your friends and people to test. And so the fact that Selena would know first before the donor, I don't know. That sounds like a breach of her medical privacy.
Yeah, I don't know how they did those tests. I wonder if they did it with a private doctor or like whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like Selena's doctors or something.
Yeah.
And they told her first. I'm not sure how exactly they did it, but it seems just a bit odd. And she clearly says here, and this is such a good clip that Spillstish found, because I'm assuming she had to go through quite a few of them. But just clearly shows that she did want to do it, but she just wanted to have a think, basically, and be sure before coming out with the news.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Completely. It's ridiculous to think like, how dare you, do this and then consider the risks. And then on top of it, she went through with it. So it's like, in hindsight, like, she had concerns and went forward anyways. That shows even more, I think, consideration for, Selena. I'm very interested in this story. I thought I wasn't going to care. And now I'm like very intrigued by this whole thing.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, I'm just going to watch this documentary because whatever. But then I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Medical industry fraud, potentially? I don't know. Wow. Okay, I'm hooked. Should we keep watching it? Is there more?
Yeah, there's more.
Okay.
If we are a match, it's just something that I would like to do. Of course, they'll get tested for you, but it's still something to like sit and process through before I actually tell you I'm going to do it. Francia did say to NBC that Selena didn't want her to do it at first because she is so busy and didn't want her to go through such a hard procedure, but Francia did want to do this at the end of the day. So it's all over the place with what people are picking from all these interviews. I'm just gonna say, from everything that I've seen, she did seem to very much want to do this for her friend, someone she referred to as her sister. She didn't think twice about it. I think in that self-interview, she was just trying to say that she wished that she had actually been told she was a match so that she could process it for a second before she was going to tell Selena, like, hey, we are a match, like, we're going to do this. But the fact that Selena knew the information before her kind of took something away from her in that aspect. But I do think that she 100% wanted to do this for Selena at the end of the day. Whether people think that she was made to do it or the decision was out of her hands or, there were outside, voices coming in to try to tell her to do something, I don't know. But this is just what is out there. Clearly, the whole internet is in a frenzy over Selena and her friendships, and I want to know what you guys think about all of this, including if you guys watched the...
Okay, so she's just wrapping it up.
Yeah, I wanted to say, just in regards to Francia doing this for fame, she's famous. Well, she's famous in her own right. She's an actress.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit unfair, perhaps. Doing an Elle interview is not going to like, oh, this is propelling somebody to the ultimate stardom. And if anything, Selena doing an interview about Taylor Swift being her only friend is probably more of an attempt to become not famous, but be relevant personally. So I think if you're accusing one, you got to accuse the other too of like, oh, why are you saying those things to the press? So I don't know.
Yeah. I think they were like, what do you call actresses that work together? Colleagues? They were colleagues.
Yeah.
Or some
co-workers.
Whatever they were doing, I don't remember exactly. But no, Francia is still she's acting. She's acting in many things. So she's not like a nobody, if that makes sense. Like and if anything, she just didn't want to, at least that's the narrative that I've come across, that she didn't want to be known as Selena's kidney donor.
If anything, but to me, it's like, if I gave my kidney to somebody, I have lifelong rights to say whatever I want from that point forward. If you want a part of my kidney, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to explain my side of things about how I feel about my own kidney being given to you. That'd be like in my contract. Like, don't tell me I have to be like, well, I don't want to like upset this person. Like, No, it's my own I'm half of this equation too. I'm half of the surgery. I'm going to tell people how I feel about it. That'd be my
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just think it's kind of odd because, like, obviously, like, it's a big deal to go through surgery like that and not to put it
Huge.
in a documentary. Like, are you telling me just
Red
more
flag.
like
Yeah.
visiting your school where you went to school is like a lot more important than having kidney transplant that you have to do it? Like, I'm not saying it's not good to visit your old school. Like, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Self-indulgent a little bit.
But like, yeah, there were so many scenes of her going back to her hometown and visiting like former neighbors or like their parents or whatever, whoever was still around. There were several scenes like that. I'm like, so you have multiple opportunities for that, but you don't have 2 minutes to talk about the kidney transplant. Like, and Francia is not at all in the documentary.
Not at all.
So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Just raises a red flag to think like, okay, so she says this thing about she only has one friend, it's Taylor in the industry. And we could go, well, she's in the music industry versus the entertainment industry. But I think even their response, like, sorry, I didn't talk about everyone I know, sort of confirms like, okay, so she's not saying like, of course I love it. I meant to say this and I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. She didn't say that either. So I think it's safe to assume maybe there's some bad blood going around there between the two of them, Francia and Selena. But then, yeah, the addition of not being in the documentary just, again, sort of maybe pushes that narrative forward. Like, oh, there's something going on or something happened. I want to know, I don't know if you've covered this, Cam, or looked into it, but I want to know about the drinking because someone in the comments said that it does drink. That is interesting.
Yeah, there's speculations about this. I don't know. The thing I feel like it's not clear. There's some speculations that she went to rehab twice, but she also went to psychiatric hospitals for her bipolar. So I'm not sure if people, when they think she was hospitalized, that they're thinking she was hospitalized for drinking rather than for bipolar. Or so I personally just don't know enough about it, to be honest. That's why I didn't really, like, the only thing that I saw was a TikTok that she made, and then she later explained that this was a joke. So yeah, I don't know, potentially, but then I don't know. It's kind of like a shitty thing to do if you just take someone's kidney and then ruin it with alcohol.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like if you're on the transplant list and well, I don't know the rules. I shouldn't say this, but I've heard, maybe I'm wrong, that if you smoke cigarettes or something and you're trying to get a lung transplant, they're not going to put you on the list. Like you have to give up certain things in order to qualify for someone to give you, even if it's a afterlife donation, like they still will consider those factors. Are you drinking? Are you smoking? Are you doing these things? So to, after the fact, participate in any activity that could make you have to have another one later or ruin the one you've gotten, I just think that's unfair.
Yeah, if that's what she did, it's pretty bad. But I personally have not received or have not seen anything that is like a full-on confirmation.
Yeah.
I've only seen things that speculate on it. So at this moment, I don't know that it's fully true.